So one day, a couple of years ago, my mom came home from work and she had a brand new iPhone 7. Now, before she even got a chance to open the box, me and my brother both grabbed it right out of her hands and we started playing around with it. And we discovered this feature called Siri. And my brother was really entertained and amused by Siri. He kept asking it questions like, Siri, what's the time? Siri, what's the date? Siri, tell me a joke. And I was really fascinated by how Siri was answering all of these questions properly. It was answering, what the time is, what the date is, and it even used some pretty bad jokes. So I was always wondering how Siri works and other chatbots work. And thanks to TKS, recently I've been able to learn more about how these chatbots work. So chatbots basically work on something called natural language processing. And natural language processing is the way that computers understand human language in a smart and useful way. So basically, there are a couple of different libraries in chatbots. There are many more, but I'm going to talk to you about a couple of them. So part of speech tagging, it breaks down sentences into different words, and then it finds out which words are the verbs, the nouns, the adjectives, and so on. Named entity recognition looks for words in predefined categories. For example, place names are organizations. And sentiment analysis can tell whether the overall tone of a sentence or a word is happy or sad or upset or angry based on the context of where the word is. So those are a couple of libraries, and each of those libraries fit into certain levels of NLP. So there are three main levels of NLP: phonology, morphology, and syntax. Phonology is speech analysis and recognition. So basically, how the program works is it takes in the sound waves and the speech that you're saying, and it converts it into strings, and then these strings later get converted into numbers, and that's how the computer understands what you're saying. And then in the case of when a chatbot has to speak back to you, these numbers are converted back into strings, and then the strings are converted back into the spoken language that the chatbot says. Morphology is word formation. So this basically breaks down the word into suffixes, roots, prefixes, and that kind of stuff. So for example, the word box, it's divided into one morpheme because it doesn't have any more suffixes or prefixes. But the word boxes is divided into two because it has box and the is signifies that it's plural. So syntax is basically the way the sentence is structured. It's the grammar and the organization of the sentence. So, for example, in this sentence, the boy chased the dog. The syntax would know that the is the definite article, boy is a noun, chased is a verb, and so on. And using syntax, you know that you can't just have the boy chased dog. You would have to have the definite article or the, so it would be the boy chased the dog. So there are many applications of natural language processing. One of them, as I said before, is chatbots and virtual assistants. So I'm sure you've all heard of Google Home before, and there are other virtual assistants as well, like Alexa, Cortana, Siri. So these chatbots and virtual assistants use natural language processing to take in whatever you're saying and give you answers to whatever questions you want. Another application of NLP is spam emails. So email servers like Gmail, they take whatever emails you're getting and they analyze who you're getting it from, what's in the emails, and then from this they can sort through the emails and realize which ones are spam and which ones are not spam, and then from this it goes into your spam folder. So even though NLP is amazing and there are a lot of applications for it, it's not 100% perfect yet. There are many things that can be improved on. Question answering is one big area that can be improved on. When you're doing online shopping and you type something in like striped pants or something and no results come up. So this is something that can be worked on with all chatbots and all types of natural language processing. Another thing that is a big area of improvement is machine translation. So languages have different syntaxes. So for example, something in English, the sentence structure of a sentence in English might not be the same as if it's in Chinese or French or something. So it's very hard to translate different languages from one to another. So that's why it's really hard to do machine translation. So this is an area that it's going to be very hard to improve because the syntaxes of the sentences are not the same. So there are many companies that are working on all of these problems, and they're trying to solve them. So one of them is called Kinjin, and it stands for Knowledge Engine. And basically, this is the world's most advanced and enhanced question answering engine. And it knows more questions than Google. It knows 10% more questions than Google. And it doesn't necessarily answer faster, but it knows more. It can answer more questions. Agolo is a summarization company, and it can take any document or any report and can give you the most important information. So if you have like a 100-page report or something, it can summarize all the important information, so you don't need to like read the entire thing to know what it's talking about. NetBase is a company that it takes live, real-time social media posts and it analyzes them, and it can help businesses track if their reputation is good or bad according to whatever whatever posts are on social media. So the NLP industry will reach 13.4 billion by 2020. And this means that a lot more companies are going to be investing in NLP. There's going to be a lot more companies doing NLP and starting NLP. But with this, a lot of industries are going to change. So NLP is going to have a huge impact on the banking industry, and all of the front-end and back-end jobs like exchanging like money for accounts or extracting money from accounts. All of these jobs are going to be done by chatbots. So none of these people who are in these jobs are going to be needed anymore in the banks. And it's like that for all customer service. So like, for example, cashiers, they're not going to be needed. It's just going to be a chatbot, and you're going to go and check out your items. Same with ordering food. You're going to get a chatbot come take your order, and then it's like a robot or a chatbot might come deliver to you. And as I said before, with banking as well. NLP and chatbots also have a huge impact on the legal industry. As I said before, with the summarization company, lawyers have to read through like lots of 100-page documents for a single case. So it would really help them if the information was summarized, so they could just read that important information, and they could get all the information that they need. And this would help them because they can go through more cases faster, and they can make more money because they have more time, so because they don't have to keep reading. So since all these industries are changing, we must have to change our skills to fit with these new industries. So some of the new skills that will be required are programming, software engineering, and those kinds of new skills, not like customer service skills. So what does this mean for students? Students should start learning all these skills now. They should start getting exposed to all these new technologies, not just AI, like genomics, virtual reality, cryptocurrencies, all these new technologies, not just AI. So we should do this so that we can be prepared for the new industries in the future, and we'll be able to get good jobs because we know all this stuff. So you know how when you're in kindergarten and the first thing you learn is like the alphabets or the numbers? So I believe that the programming and getting exposed to all these technologies is like the alphabet and like those numbers for the entire world, basically. Thank you.